conversations with me, Estonia.
Okay.
Yeah. So before we go into the big stuff, right? Tell us about you, your favorite food, your favorite color, fun stuff.
Okay. My name is Dema. My favorite food you might not know is pounded yam with plantain. You pound it together with palm oil,
Oh
pound it
wow.
very well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh no, then pepper soup, fish pepper soup.
Ooh,
Favorite food.
cool.
Um, favorite color is purple. I really like
Nice.
purple. Yeah. And a little about me. So yes, I've been an early childhood educator for some years now. Wow. For some years now. I think like 8 years
Yeah.
now. Not so long, but
Ooh, that's
for
long.
some years now. And I think one thing that is, will I say, striking is the fact that I've had to recently reinvent myself. The fact that I've learned a new way, and that's questioning, oh, this is what I used to know,
Mm,
and this is what I know now. So making that a bit plainer is so I worked in Nigeria. So I was just I worked in a British curriculum school where we use the EYFS curriculum. And I moved to Canada and I started working with the emergent curriculum. So comparing different curriculums or
curriculum
curricula,
frameworks. Yeah.
comparing different frameworks, comparing then the pedagogy, especially moving from the Nigerian culture
To the
and
Canadian one.
now the PA-based pedagogy, and it's experience in my house because I mean, so working is one thing, working with children, then working with your own child is another thing doing. Is it
Mm.
really working? Let me come and try it inside my own house and see if it's working. And answer questions because yeah. So I think yeah, that's the little evolving that I've done recently.
Yeah, you sort of like dived into the question I was going to ask you. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, and yes, with the practicing with your child, at least I have been in this journey with you virtually for a while because you always have questions.
yeah. Yeah, my first teacher, Leon's first teacher.
Like you always have questions, and I love it because even when you ask, when we talk about these things, I go back and also, go back and read up again. Okay, why is this how it is? I really this I feel like early childhood education is about connecting with the child. So when you're
Yeah.
ready to connect, you would have lots of questions. You will
Mm-hmm.
have lots of questions, and it's fun because it just opens up your mind to a whole lot of stuff. Thank you for sharing that, little introduction. But I wanted to ask you a question. You've sort of delved into it a bit. You mentioned that over here in Nigeria, you used to work in a British curriculum school with the strength of the Nigerian culture, because I remember that was the slogan, like British curriculum with the strength of the Nigerian culture, and it was EYFS. So what was that
Yeah.
transitioning like for you? I'm sure you've worked in the classroom over there. What worked for you here that you feel over
Mm-hmm.
there? So like what's the experience like for you so far? What was the transitioning like? What are the questions that you've had? Because one thing I love about you is the
Yeah.
questions.
Okay, so I'll say what worked for me over there that didn't really work for me here. Now, every system has its pros and its cons, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like in and okay, I would say I got trained, I started working, and maybe then because I was also younger, yeah, in the class, you're an assistant teacher, and you're like, okay, I'm going to do this. I can do this. I can
Mm.
teach children, right? I can teach children. I remember at first I was like, what do 2-year-olds learn? Like, what do they learn, for crying out loud? What am I going to be teaching a 2-year-old? But I just felt, oh, I can teach children. I can teach children. So it was more like a teacher-led approach for me. And how did that make me feel? It made me feel okay, in control. Before school starts, 2 weeks before school starts, we already have lesson plans. So
Yeah.
you already have everything planned out. Like, okay, these are my lesson plans for. In fact, for 30, yeah, sometimes, yeah, 2 weeks before school starts, you submit your whole lesson plans
Yes, I
for the
remember.
whole,
Session for
yeah,
the
for the
term.
whole session, for the whole term. You submit it, and it's like, okay, yeah, I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing. But now, coming here, and it's like, okay, you guys, where are lesson plans? I need something concrete. And it's like, no, calm down. You need the children. You need to know the children. You need to know where they are. And I'm like, know where they are. I don't know. Wherever they
Oh,
are,
I don't need
my
to
own is
know.
I need to teach them. Yeah, I need to more or less open their head and put in this knowledge inside. But and when I started working here, it made me feel less in control. And that's the whole thing about the emergent curriculum. Because when you really study the emergent curriculum, and it tells you about the philosophy of a child, like who a child is, it gives you child-led approach.
Yeah.
I am looking at it like, okay, I'm actually a co-learner with this child. I'm actually supposed to follow this child. And it's like, how am I supposed to be following this child? I've been here before this child. I know, see, there are 2 years, at least no 1 to 20. At least, at least start counting when I tell you, oh yeah, let's count 1 to my circle. Let's go, let's go. And you're living there. Oh yes, I'm the teacher. I'm the one, So, but honestly, I really saw that the emergent curriculum will allow you connect with each child individually. I believe it's more inclusive because you need to know where every child is at. And I believe it's will I say more relevant or in this world, because the world now is so diverse, especially Canada is so diverse. Yeah, in a class with children from different nations, different places, like
Yes, even
you need
here
to
as
connect.
well. Even here as well, we have children from different
Yeah.
places. Some people, even a child relocating from a particular state to Lagos or from Lagos to another, yeah, that's even we have children from other parts of the world. I remember growing up with Ghanaians in my class, so the world has always been diverse. I think we just now that we are now paying more attention to that part of it now. Yes. Yes, so, sorry to cut you short.
Yeah.
I'm
So
listening.
no, thanks. No, thanks for putting that in. So just really connecting with each child, to me, it's something that I've seen that I really like. So even when I used to work in Nigeria, I remember one day I was if I can never forget that day. I was right in front of my house, and I'm like, because then I used to reflect on everything every child told me during the day. So it's like I'm doing an attendance in my head, like, okay, I heard this child's voice, I heard this child's voice, I heard this child's voice. Then I was in front of my house, and I'm like, I didn't hear this child's voice. And I'm like, I didn't hear this child's voice. But I was sure that this child came to school. And I'm like, how come in a whole day,
Your
in
child
a
didn't say
class
anything.
with this child, and I didn't hear this child? There was nothing, like I honestly did not hear, as in I'd gone through the attendance in my head, and I've heard every child's voice, and I didn't hear this child's voice. And I know that next day I went to school that I want to spend at least time. I'm not going, because where we work is so fast paced. The the early years classroom is so you cannot sit down and be chilling. Oh yeah, let's
There's always
gist
something
for
to do.
like so fast paced. But that connecting with every child every day, no matter how many children are in your class, is necessary. So I really liked that the emergent curriculum puts that at the core, in the forefront. Like before you can say, oh, I want to plan for a child, you must have observed this child, you must have seen this child, you must have heard this child, you must get to know the child. That way you can now plan for the child. And what that does in turn is the children, they know, like when they say love to a child, they spell Time. It's all like they know that, whoa, you see me, I'm heard, I'm valued. Oh, Miss Dama, wow, this is what I really want to do. Like, oh, you saw me, like
You're the best
you
teacher in the
see what,
world.
yeah, you see what I'm interested in, and you bring that thing to that child, and the child is excited. You see the child's eye, like it lights up, like yes. So that whole trying to get a child to be interested in something before you start teaching the child, that whole work is already done through your observation, through your listening, through your, it's already done. Like you've seen the child, you know what the child is interested in. So I really like that about the emergent curriculum.
So
Yeah.
yeah, thank you for sharing that. Now I want to like dial back a little because you mentioned something about control. And yeah, so I'm just going to talk about that. You know, so control, because you said you felt less in control with the
Yeah.
emergent curriculum. How did that make you feel?
Okay, in the beginning, so to me, like there's a learning curve, right? Everything has a learning curve. So yes, you start learning something new, or you start something new. And yeah, it's just a, will I say, a discomforting feeling, like, oh my God, what am I doing here? Or these people, are they sure they know what they are doing? After all, this is not the curriculum that has made me who I am, because we argue a lot about that, like
Yeah.
uh,
When I was
everything.
younger.
Yeah, is this not how they taught us? So what is it not what has made us? Is it not what has made us? But as I can remember my teacher, then I was in nursery too, and this woman will call me to her table and tell me to write. If I don't write, the back of my fingers and all. As in, I can still remember that. In my 30s. I cannot
On
remember
your
any
camera.
other
Can you imagine? Can
So
you
I see, okay, it made me who I am. It made me right. But seriously, must I still have that picture in my head that if I'm not writing now?
What you so see children
So,
remember.
oh, they do, they do.
So,
So, yeah, it made me feel a bit discomforting. It made me question a lot of things, like, okay, is it that what I was doing, I wasn't doing it correctly, or what exactly are these people trying to say? But I gave it a chance. And I think Leon helped me give it a chance, because so when I started school, Leon was 18 months. I started school when he was 18 months.
yes.
So I'm like, okay, you're going to be my first sample size. Let me sample you. Let me sample on you what I'm learning in school. And I remember one day I came home and I'm like, this guy, you're almost 2. You are not counting 1 to 20.
Yeah, I remember.
Hey, you think I came to this country to count bridge? Come on, let's start. That day he was playing with his train set, someone's the train, and I was pulling the train set, like, we are not playing with train set now. I say 1, 2, let's count. Let's count. He just kept saying choo choo, choo choo. Don't be choo me anything. I don't want choo what? Say 1, 2, 3. And at the end of the day, you'll be the one that frustrated. The child is in a whole different headspace. Allow the child do the choo-choo. Let him enjoy his train. And honestly, so I had this number board that I had bought, just the peg board. So put 1 in 1, 2 in 2, 3 in 3. And all of a sudden, like weeks or maybe months later, I started noticing that, okay, he's showing an interest in numbers.
Mm.
And I didn't even say, oh yeah, it's now is the time. I noticed it, I observed it. Okay, he's showing an interest in numbers. And I just put the puzzle on the chair where he will get access to it.
Mm.
And he started by himself. As in, he was on that puzzle for minutes. All this, like, I really saw that he was genuinely interested.
Mm.
Then he'll turn 6 around and he'll notice it looks like 9. He'll say, oh, 9, and he'll turn it again, say 6. So you see that because of that interest, he's taking charge of his own learning.
Learning. Mm.
He's questioning. Because in fact, what made me laugh, I can't forget that day. 2, if you turn 2, the way the puzzle is anyway, if the way the 2 was carved, if you turn it in a way, it looks like 5.
Oh, okay.
So he turned it and he was like, why? Why? Because he saw that
Like
he had put
seriously,
5.
why?
Yes, he had put 5 in 5. And this 2 is not going to fit in 5, but he's looking and he's looking and saying, why? I'm not there. I'm just observing
From afar.
from I'm just observing. I'm doing other things. I'm looking. I'm like, okay. That's how the child learned 1 to 10. That puzzle had 10. 1 to 10.
Mm.
And then, so if I now come then and I'm like, okay, let's count 1, 2, 3. He's interested. He's there
Yes.
at that point, and he's seeing you like, wow, mommy is actually interested in what I'm interested in.
Interested in.
That's how his head is going to interpret it. Wow, mommy wants to play with me. Mommy cares. So all that fight of, okay, let's make sure you are doing 1 to 20 now, has been erased. So I started seeing it and I'm like, okay, this is new. Then another thing I noticed, like when he was 3, he just watched a cartoon. So cartoons, he was watching a cartoon, Octonauts, and in the cartoon there was a fish that swallowed a key. And they were trying to find out which fish swallowed the key, and they did an X-ray and everything. I started saying, inside the tummy. Do you know for days it will say inside the body, inside my tummy. Oh, and like, yeah, when you eat your food, where does it go? It goes inside, like all those kind of things. That's how this guy just started becoming so interested in inside the
Inside the body.
body. Inside what's happening inside my body.
Wow.
So I started, I'm like, okay, these silly stories, the old woman who swallowed something. There was an old woman who swallowed a
Swallowed the
fly.
fly. I don't know why she swallowed the fly. Perhaps she
Yeah,
died.
so I got that book. I noticed that they had different series of the old woman who swallowed one thing or the other. So I
Yeah.
got those books. We started reading. And from there, we now started reading like bones, skeleton, different things inside the body
Wow.
organs. And I actually looked at myself one day and I was like, I never thought I could be teaching a 3-year-old about body organs. Oh, your heart, this is how your heart is. Oh, your intestines. Like, it's not in all my lesson planning. I've not planned. I've not planned.
Right?
I've not planned biology for
Right. We are
3-year-olds.
coming to that. Right?
I've not planned biology for 3-year-olds. And that's another thing about the emergent curriculum where it says children are curious, children are capable, children they are critical thinkers. And it wasn't too much for
For
him.
him, because he
I
was
was
interested.
like he'll tell me, oh mommy, my heart is beating. Oh mommy, my tummy is rumbling. And I was like, wow, so this is actually not too much for you. And it got me thinking. I'm like, okay, it's like I should give this emergent curriculum a try.
See?
I became a believer.
You became a believer. Yes,
Yeah, I became a
I'm
believer.
fascinated at how just that cartoon where he saw something going to a character's belly, just like it opened up doors for or opened up doors for him to learn deeper things. So I love how you went and you did not just say belly belly, you did not just leave it at that. You were able to provide the opportunity for him to learn all those things. You bought books, you provided books, I know for teachers that'll be watching this, I know she's talking about a chat. In fact, that's why she's here. To talk about that. Yes. Because if we understand that the child actually holds the torch, they are the ones with the light, they are the ones shining the light to where they ought to go. It's better. So imagine that you had planned a lesson for him. You would not put anything about skeletons. You're not going to even
Why?
start talking about hearts because you feel, he's too young for
Let's
that.
do eye, nose, mouth,
And
the
leave it
things that
there.
we
You just reminded me recently, my children and I, we've been learning about community helpers. Now we use things, but Miss Tonia, as Miss Tonia would always be, she would always deviate. So I was telling them about professions that are not popular. So I talked about scientists, and then I told the science teacher that we're coming to do a learning work, and then we'll come to his lab. And I told the children about what a laboratory is. Some of them watch these cartoons. In fact, that's why I love this jet age. So we got in there and they just picked the model of a heart.
Mm.
There was a skeleton, there was the model of a heart, there was the brain. You see, till tomorrow, they come to check my head. Every time they come to ask me, is your head covering your brain? Is it, you know? And it was the heart. So the science teacher was now telling them that the vein pumps blood to the heart, and everybody
Yeah.
started checking for their own vein. They were still pulling. Yesterday in school, a child was now asking me, Miss Tony, is your vein pumping? Let me see it. Let me see. Is it pumping the blood? I brought a stethoscope. They listened to heartbeats. When we got back, I now did all of that, listening to the heartbeats and told them that that's the blood, pumping into your heart and the arteries pump blood to other parts of your body. And then we started talking. I don't know how we started talking about the brain. And then we talked about neurons. And then we talked about, so we just went on and on. And there's this new
Yeah.
thing I usually do now. I always tell them I don't know everything. I know
Oh,
I'm your
yeah.
teacher, so I have a Google Assistant on my phone, on one of my phones. That phone does not have what's it called? So people don't call me on that phone. That's
Yeah.
my content phone. So I just say, okay, Google, tell us.
Yeah.
Once a child should just ask me something. So that's how I'm able to follow their interest sometimes by including technology, because there's something someone said about play diet, feeding the children with what they're familiar with. They
I
know what.
joined your training on that. I joined your
Yes.
training.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
you remember. So there's the phone. They know what a phone is. And I'm like, okay, yes, you can talk to Alexa, you can talk to Google Assistant. So I actually told them I can say, okay, Google. In fact, you hear them shouting, okay, Google in class. Like, okay, Google, show me. One day we're talking about 3D shapes, and one said, show me 5D shape. I'm like, yeah, right.
Google can find it too.
And it actually did find it. I'm just saying, usually it would have been, is that not too much? If I had just followed what I wanted to do, I would have limited the children
Exactly.
based on my
Exactly.
own thoughts, based on my own
What
experience.
we think being
Yes,
adult, yeah,
what
what we
I
think is
think
appropriate
for
now.
them or what I think they should be learning. But the child's
Yeah.
brain has so much it wants to do. Why not just
Eh,
all they need to do is just shine the light to what they want, and all we need to do is follow it. I that's all I'm
So,
taking from this.
in fact, I really like that because recently Leon said, Mommy, how come you don't know everything? Because I tell him, I'm like, I don't know everything. I
Mm.
don't know everything. He's always saying, Hey Siri, hey Siri. Then anyway, hey Siri, let Siri talk to him and all those kind of things. And I let him know that I don't know everything. And one thing about the emergent curriculum is questioning children. So,
Mm.
oh, what do you think? Oh,
Mm.
but give me your idea. Do you have any suggestion? How can we fix this? I know having those conversations, and it's not testing. It's not okay.
Mm,
What shape is this? Mm-mm. It's not because really it's having a conversation. Like
yes.
if I come every time, hey, Tonya, what curriculum is this? They're like,
And you know
who
these
are you?
children, right? You could, what number is this? What shape is this? What letter is this? All you want. If they don't want to answer you, ugh, they will
Hmm.
not answer
And
you.
they know it
They,
all.
oh, they
They know
do know it. Which makes me
it.
wonder how some schools do exams for them because I'm like, have you met some children? Okay.
Like, of the 2-year-old report card,
Yes,
the
and I'm like,
2-year-old
how do you
exam.
guys do
I'm
exams
like,
for this?
I'm
Oh,
like, wow, teachers are working really hard
they
because I
are.
don't
And
know
that's the
how you
thing.
get a 2-year-old to do exam.
Like early childhood education is just experiences, following like following the child. Like, it's just so imagine writing exams for him at the age of 2. But look at it now, between when he was 2 and now, would you say that learning has taken place?
Learning has indeed taken place because honestly, I look at him now and I'm like, how did you know all these things? All these, oh, mommy, no, let me tell you. Oh, yeah, I'm listening to me. And honestly, I'm not even joking. Like, I don't know. I guess at this stage I'll just say God, the way God created the child's brain and everything. Like if you really follow the child, like they say a child is born to learn.
Mm,
That's how the child is created. They are from in fact from inside the womb, they are
from the
learning.
womb, yes, they're learning.
They're already learning. So you now come and create a curriculum for someone that you've not even met.
Box the child in, create lesson plans ahead, and you're
And I know, okay, one other thing that made me struggle. So I know I used to ask my lecturer then that, okay, it's your emergent curriculum. So what happens on the first day of school? Oh yeah, because there's a day you meet the child now. What
mm,
happens on the first day of school? And she'll be like, oh yeah, there are materials, open-ended materials. You provide open-ended materials
yeah,
for the children. You give them Play-Doh. You give them that developmentally, there are things children at a particular age gravitate towards.
towards, yeah.
Just do open-ended materials, natural materials, and
Mm,
see what the child is using the material to
to
do.
do. Mm.
And play schemas really helped me. I know play schemas is really a toddler thing
It's
because
not,
toddler,
no,
but
not really.
I'm still using play schemas for
Yeah.
Leon. Like
Mm.
he's not a toddler, and I'm still using because right now this guy is inside trajectory and
Schema.
transformation schema,
Mm.
trajectory and transformation schema. Like he wants to fly. Just to add wings to his back. Let him actually fly. That wants to see things move. Oh, like this morning, mom, let's play baseball.
Ooh, I think maybe it's the age
Ah.
because the ones in my class too, any little thing, as long as that thing is round, how you just hear pow, and I'm like, what's going on? They are moving something, they want to see how it's flying across the room, and I'm like, and I see a lot of enveloping schemas with my pupils as you just give them stuff and we are outside, they are covering things up. So I did something with that recently. I noticed that whenever we go out in the sun, they're either burying their legs, so they would dig the sand and put their legs in it. So you know what I did? I now took muffin pans and put tiny, tiny animals and froze them. And I told them to
Yeah.
try to, like rescue them. They are hidden, they are stuck. The same way they used to stick themselves in the sand. Like, so it helps me.
Yeah.
It actually makes my own planning easy when I just, what schema did I notice? This child, that child,
Yes.
connecting. The
Yes.
the boy that I brought snap cubes from, I just noticed that he connecting schema, anything that fixes, once he always wants to fix stuff, put stuff together. He and the other one that made the drone, they always want to put stuff together, connect stuff. There's another one that is so creative. Once you give, she would make pies, as in she would create some things, and I'm like, where did that come from? It's so amazing. Now that, when you implement
um,
is when you now see all these things and you're like, oh, I see. Oh, now I see. Oh, I see. Like, where has this been all my life? It's amazing. It's
for
amazing.
real,
Yes, it's
for real.
amazing.
Uh, I I totally, because at first I was skeptical. Yes, I
I
was.
know, I
I was
trust
like,
you.
let me get that hold on to the one that I know. These people coming to tell me about emergent curriculum. I beg go. Not sure. The one I know is the one I know. But
Mm,
I'm grateful that I gave myself the opportunity to grow,
mm,
the opportunity to be curious, and like the opportunity to try things out
yeah.
and actually see that and reflect. Because one thing about the emergent curriculum, it will make you reflect. Because
Mm,
when one thing, like we're talking previously before I started recording about theming, when you want to start doing theming, you've not really observed. So there was a time Leon was interested in bugs. And I was like, hey, we can be counting the spots on the ladybugs back. Let me pull a mat strand into this. Oh, I almost got frustrated. I'm not interested in counting. He was just genuinely interested in the bugs,
bugs.
the head, the thorax, the like, oh, like really seeing the bugs and okay, mommy, oh, this one can fly. Oh, this cannot fly. This one can crawl only. Oh, the ladybug, the wings are hidden inside. So imagine I just say, this child is interested in ladybugs. Oh yeah, mat stream, mat strand.
How many ladybugs can you see?
Yes. How many? Or let's count the spots on the ladybug's back.
Mm,
Okay, art. Let's draw and paint and color a ladybug.
mm.
English. Literacy. Ladybug. It starts with letter L. But so that's what, like when you were talking about themes,
Yeah,
having trying to use one thing to now represent every area of
every
curriculum. Because one thing I know that really scared me with the emergent curriculum, I'm like, what if the children are not interested in anything? Yeah, what am I going to plan? And okay, so now I've been talking about Leon, but I also worked with children, right? In up to kindergarten age children. That's kindergarten is the year you turn 4. So JK and SK. So children from the ages 4 to 6.
Okay.
Then I also worked like in toddler classes. So I worked in toddlers, preschool, and
Mm,
kindergarten. I only worked just let's say few times in the infant.
mm,
Yeah. But kindergarten is my most experience. So children 4 to 6. Then preschool, I have preschool experience and I have toddler experience too.
mm,
And I noticed that these children will never ever run out of things they're interested in
mm.
because the world is new to them. We're the ones that we now know
We've
that
been
okay,
here for years.
yeah, we've been here. So
We are old school.
okay, this this is how this thing works. I know this is how this thing works. I'm not so curious
Curious.
about it. But these children are born with
They want to,
curiosity.
yeah.
They
You,
want to know.
mm,
They want to know. So it's either you're not providing them with the right environment. That's when you say a child has run out of interest.
there's,
Your
mm,
environment is still the same, or probably you're not observing enough, or probably you are just so in tune with yourself on how to give them the curriculum that you think they need
yeah.
and stuff like that. Because I know I got worried. But honestly, when I started working with my kindergarten like children and all, I never had a time where a child is not interested in something.
Mm,
I still remember there was this child every day he's wearing superhero shirt. superhero this, superhero that. And I told my colleague that, have you not noticed that this child is interested in this? She's like, yeah, but I don't know how to move that interest forward. I'm like, neither do I, but I think we should give it a try. After all, we are co-learners, right? We'll learn along with the child,
With the child,
alongside the
yeah.
child. And I know, okay, so I was like, okay, where do I start from? Let me start from coloring sheets. Now, I don't really do worksheets. I don't like worksheets at all. I'm not a worksheet person. But I'm like, okay, coloring sheet. Fine, let's start with coloring sheet. And I printed out outlines for them to color. And I'm like, okay, we can actually stick this on ice cream sticks, right? Those ice cream
Oh,
sticks.
yeah.
We made puppets and children. Oh, oh, my superhero! These are the powers. And you see them expressing themselves, because that's one thing about
communication.
Yeah, they express themselves, and the curriculum. A child needs to express themselves. We do, or how will I put it? In adults, when adults learn things, the expression is the exam now. Oh, yeah, you've been
Yeah.
sitting down, you learn. Oh, yeah, come and express
Come and
yourself inside
express
this. Let us know if you
what you've
know
learned,
what
if you
you
know what
have
you've
been
learned.
learning. But every day, children should express themselves. That's when you know that, oh, wow. Like recently, we read a Daniel Tiger storybook about family. Leon has really been interested in family. And he's like, Mommy, I want to draw my family picture. I want to draw my family picture. I want to draw my family picture. And I'm like, okay, let's do that. And no, this is daddy, this is mommy, this is Leon. He now drew Leon big. So in my mind, I was curious, like, this Leon is bigger than mommy. Okay, I'm not going to ask a question yet, but I'm looking, why is this Leon bigger than mommy? Then he says, this is big Leon, because when Leon is big, he can watch Transformers. He now drew the TV.
Oh, cool.
Because I've been telling him, you can't watch Transformers until
So
you
you're
grow big.
big. Oh, that's
This
so
big.
cool.
This is the TV. So these are things that will I know that that thing is inside of him if I did not give him the opportunity to express
Opportunity.
himself. So what kind of expressions, or what kind of environment are we giving the children to actually give them the opportunity to
To
express
express
themselves?
themselves.
If our own expression, okay, what letter is this? What sound does it make? Okay, thank you. That's our next child. Okay, have you written? Oh, yeah, let's do hand over hand. Do your A like this. Like really, because yeah, like it's no, and they will learn. Like I know someone, an early childhood educator recently asked me that she was going to do a talk, and she wants to hear from me that at 4, what's more important for me, Leon reading or him having his emotions, like self-regulation and everything. And I'm like, self-regulation, that reading is not running away. He will read. He will read. By God's grace, he will read. Reading is not running away. But
True.
even going through that frustration, going through all the emotions that come alongside learning, it's better if you can self-regulate and get to that point.
Yes.
Yeah, try something, it's not working, you're feeling uncomfortable, you're feeling frustrated, but you're still going to try again and all that. That is more important to me than a
Yes.
child learning to read. If they say choose one at that age, I'll say self-regulations, emotion, knowing how to navigate things, than okay, let's start reading right now. So I think the emergent curriculum actually offers children a wider range of skills, because you're actually seeing them and following them and following them. And honestly, when my colleague and I tried out that superhero thing, I learned about superheroes that I did not know. I also learned, and it made me see that, oh, I can actually be a co-learner with these children. And
Yeah.
one other
They
thing my
will.
children taught me was hula hooping. I remember when I'm seeing them doing hula hoops and I'm trying, and I'm like, Then the day I got it, the way I screamed on the
Oh,
playground. Then I just made me realize the joy children feel when they learn something and
yeah.
they can actually do it. I'm like,
Mm.
oh my God. That day, there was a parent there and I felt embarrassed. I was like, God, which kind of teacher be this one? Is this the person I'm leaving my children with?
Thank you. So this has been a very, very wholesome conversation. It's professional development, but in a very, relatable way, and I'm so grateful. Like, so I want to say that God gave you Leon, right? So that you can understand emergent curriculum, so that you can be a believer, so that you can share with people like us
My
that
teacher.
needs to know.
My teacher. Oh, he's my teacher.
Yeah,
He's my
and
teacher.
it's amazing. I even without having that experience that you have had firsthand, right? It's still beautiful to see and hear some children. So every time I'm with my nephews and my nieces, I'm always looking at them like, what's that new thing they're picking up? What's that? I'm always observing. So this is just beautiful to listen to. And thank you so much for letting me drag you here. Thank you
Thank you. Thank
very,
you.
very much. And I'm
Thank
sure
you.
that a lot of other people would really, really learn from this. Thank you so much. I'm going to let you go now so that you can go play with Leon. Bye.
Also, bye.
Bye.
Thank
Yeah, right. Thank you so much.